Several years ago, when I facilitated my first Akashic initiation, I did it to a group of people that were already energy practitioners. Through their sessions, they were already coaching and reading the Akashic Field. During the Akashic initiation, one of them asked me what was the difference between working with the Akashic Records through shamanism and connecting with energy through that modality, and the information and work we could do in the Akashic Records as a modality. Back then, we couldn't understand the difference between each connection. And this morning, as I was opening my Akashic Records, I finally understood the difference between the shamanic practice and the Akashic Records practice. When you open the Akashic Records, you are entering an energy field. You are setting the intention to work with the Akash or Akasha, which is the energy that powers up everything that exists. The visual representation I got comes from the movie Doctor Strange, where he opens and learns to enter the mirror dimension, a place that is very similar to the reality he's living, but where the rules of creation and the laws of physics are more flexible. And when he goes into this mirror dimension, he can also make sure that whatever experimentation or thing goes on in there does not necessarily automatically impact the physical dimension outside of the mirror dimension. So working with the Akashic Records differs from shamanism in that way. When you open your Akashic field, you enter this mirror dimension, which is not necessarily that is a mirror dimension, because the Akashic Records do not exactly work as the mirror dimension in Doctor Strange, but you access a different dimension, an energy field that allows you to create your reality there, that allows you to call um, in different energies and perceive a different dimension of the reality you are living here, so that then you can bring that down into your physical reality and then anchor it, maybe through some other practices that you also learn in the Akashic Records, into the energy field of Earth. And it's not that when you work with shamanic practices or any other practice, and here I'm just referring to shamanism because that was the discussion point for us back then. So it's not that when you work with shamanic practices or magic, you don't enter an energy field or you don't set a space. Because when I learned shamanism from myself, we were taught to open a space and call in the four dimensions to protect us and create this capsule or energy field where we will be working so that we could remain safe and we ensured that whatever we were doing, whatever energy we were working was of the highest vibration possible. Right there resides the difference in energy and the difference in practice. Not that one is better than the other, it's just different, at least in this dimension of the physical plane. Elemental energy, because the four dimensions are related to the cardinal points, but also to the four elements, opens a different energy field from Akashic Records. And so the Akasha is the consciousness, the totality, the fabric that moves through everything that exists. And that's why in shamanism, they ask for permission to connect to the Akasha. So when you open the Akashic Records and then you work with perhaps shamanic practices or magical practices or any other energetic practice, what you are doing is going or flowing from the top down. Down again, not because they are less effective or less powerful or anything like that. It's more like a cone. Let's say that the Akashic Records are the energy field, the totality here. And then through perhaps shamanic practices or magic, what you're doing is bringing that totality into the physical plane, into the physical vehicle of that totality. And that's the difference between the Akashic Records and any other practice that exists. So you always need to consciously or automatically access the Akashic Records so that you can practice any other practice. I will argue that you are doing that unconsciously. Whenever you are doing magic or any other energetic practice, you are accessing the energy field of Akasha. You just don't know it. You just don't give it that name or don't recognize it as such. But that's what you are doing. So when you learn to open the Akashic Records, you learn to be part of the whole again. You learn to go up into the dimension of totality, learn what you need to learn or acquire the information you need to acquire from there. And then you can also acquire the practice, the channel, the vehicle to bring that totality and that information again down into the physical realm, just like Doctor Strange in the mirror dimension.